Okay, here we go. We're going to do pumpkin pie. In the mixing bowl, I have 1 can of pumpkin. That's 15 ounces of pumpkin. 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. To that, we're going to add 3 eggs, the seasoning, milk, and heavy cream, and that's it. It's done. I mean, this is less than 10 minutes here. You know, if you don't want to use this recipe, make sure that you find a recipe that has 4 spices in it. Cinnamon is 1. Oh, also, look how I cut the top of that thing. You see, if you cut the top of it, you can just pull it out smooth, and you don't need 2 hands to, you know, to flatten off the top of the measuring spoon. You just pull it out. So when you buy your spice, just cut that paper thing in half. You know, that way you can use that to flatten off the measuring spoons. All right, anyway, that was 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, I didn't put these in order, but it should be cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and cloves. And it should go 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, ground cloves. All right, there goes the ginger. That was 1/2 teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cloves. You got to have all 4 of those. They really do make the pumpkin spice. That there was a teaspoon of salt. Wait a minute, let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure it was a teaspoon of salt. No, I'm sorry, it's a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, now there's the 3/4 cups of milk and 1/2 cup of heavy cream. If you don't want to use the heavy cream, you can use a 1.25 cups of milk. But the heavy cream gives it a nice flavor. All right, now we're mixing up the eggs, the spice, and the sugar along with the pumpkin. Then we're going to add the milk and the heavy cream, and it's done. I mean, this pie is very, very simple. There's nothing to it. All right, so let me read the recipe again. It's 3 eggs, 1 can of pumpkin. It's a 15-ounce can. 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/8 teaspoon of cloves. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cup of milk, and 1/2 cup of heavy cream. That's it. You put it in a pie shell, you bake it at 375 for approximately 1 hour, and you're good to go. Like I said, these, if you're using the frozen pie shells, these are the easiest pies to make. The pumpkin and pecan. You know, because you have no top for it. You just, you know, mix it together, throw it in the oven. It's a piece of cake. Now, you don't want to mix it to where you get any bubbles in it. You know, you just want to mix it to incorporate everything. Like I said, if you don't want to use this recipe, I don't know why you wouldn't. But if you don't, make sure you find a recipe that has the 4 spices in it. Some recipes don't. And if you ask me, they don't taste good. They taste like crap. All right, there you go. You pour it into the pie shell. Put it into the oven. And you're good to go. 375 for approximately 1 hour. You'll see the eggs will start to puff up. You know, the pie will start to swell up. And it's done. All right, see you.